We're here at NITROSHOX Performance Laboratories, and one of the most common questions we get is, what is a NITROSHOX and how does it work? So we're here with Frank Campitelli, the inventor of the NITROFORCE Titan 1000. Frank, what is a NITROSHOX?
A NITROSHOX technically is a gas spring. It is a charged shock absorber that has nitrogen gas pressure inside the tube. As the shaft gets compressed into the tube, the pressure inside wants to force it back out. This is not a shock absorber that you have to push in and pull back out. It wants to push out. Okay? So it takes 250 pounds to compress it. I can't even compress it this way. The only way to compress it is to put it on the machine and use a lever to compress the two ends together.
How is it different from a hydraulic shock?
A hydraulic shock, when you compress it, you are providing the resistance to change a piston pack and fluid from one end to the other. So as you push it in, it pushes the fluid this way, and when you pull it out, it pushes the fluid back the other way. This does not have a bunch of fluid in it creating the resistance. It's actually gas pressure.
So how do you make the resistance harder or easier on the machine?
Making it harder or easier on the machine is by placing the gas spring on the machine and changing the leverage characteristics, okay, over here. To make it easier, you do this. To make it harder, you do this, okay? You put it on the machine.
How do you make the resistance harder or easier on the machine?
Making the resistance harder or easier on the machine, since this is not an adjustable unit, you actually change the leverage characteristic of the lever. Okay? So to make it harder, you would move the gas spring away from the fulcrum, providing more leverage here. Okay? So we're going to look at this real quick on how this one works. I'm going to do a deadlift. I'm going to pull up on the lever, which is going to compress the gas spring or NITROSHOX on that end. So I pull up, it compresses them there. Now it's pulling on me probably about 150, 175 pounds right now for me to lift this.
Frank, one of the questions people ask is, if they stop pushing, does the machine push back?
Yes, gas springs operate in a pressure mode, meaning if you compress it, it pushes back. To demonstrate this, we've got two gas springs on the large radius on the number 6 hole. Okay? On the other side of here, we've got a longer lever, and we're going to lift this up. It's probably going to be about 80 or 90 pounds to lift it. And I'm going to set it down on the scale, and you can see the pressure is 85 pounds. So the spring pressure is causing the weight or resistance on this end. And it is static, and it does push back.
Frank, with the Titan 1000 in the up pressure position, how much resistance can you get with one nitrogen gas spring?
Well, the gas spring itself exhibits 250 pounds of pressure to start compression. By putting it on the machine, the length of the lever does make some difference on the leverage ratio. But with one gas spring in the deepest or hardest position, we're going to see when I lift this up and stick the scale underneath of it how much pressure you actually get. So I'm going to have to put my foot on here and pick this up and then put this down on top of it. Okay, just letting it down on there is about 140, 142 pounds in this position itself. Now it can accept 4 gas springs on top of this, so you're talking about 280, 540, maybe 600 pounds depending on the length of the lever. So it's static pressure that's coming down on you.
How do you change the pressure from the up pressure to down pressure?
That's another very interesting question. Most pieces of equipment, you move around the weight stack. Here we move the weight stack in front or behind the fulcrum. In this position we have the up pressure position with the gas springs over here. We're going to move them to the other side. We're going to lift the lever up, okay, like this one here is, and we're going to put the gas spring on this side of the fulcrum. And we put it on here, real easy, little ball stud linkage here, okay? And now we can go from easy to hard, okay? Now with 2 gas springs on this with the lever extended, I've got a pull scale on here, and you can see that this is reading 0, and I'm going to pull on it pretty good, and she can get a close-up of the pulling pressure, what it takes to pull us down. All right, With 2 in that position, we're getting 130 pounds of pressure, and we can actually add 2 more in these positions to give us 4 gas springs for about 260, and even if we shorten this up to 300, 350 pounds of pressure, pulling pressure in the down position. Need to put these on?
Yeah.
Now this is going to be very difficult to pull down with 4. Ready? 260. That's everything I got. So
Will it hold you?
If you don't believe it's 260, take this off. Put this down. And you can see it don't even budge. I don't weigh 260. I only weigh 215. So it isn't gonna, it's not gonna come down. So